by someone who worked with him closely, our current communications director of the Florida AFL-CIO, Josh Amjar. But Josh got to know Dave personally when he was the staff field director in that area where Dave works. And again, if there was ever a person who would speak his mind and targeted and focused and long-winded about it, it's our good friend out of the postal workers, Dave Bernstein. So with that, let me ask Josh to come up and talk about Dave a little bit.
Hello, brothers and sisters, and good evening. I hope everyone enjoyed their food and dessert and all of that. But I'm here to talk about Dave Bernstein, and I really wish he was here, but right now Dave is at an APWU convention in Las Vegas, so I can't feel that bad for the man. He is in Las Vegas. God help Las Vegas. So, and that's what I'm going to be talking about is Dave Bernstein. Now, when I first started in the Florida labor movement, working as a zone coordinator in Tampa, and Labor 2008 rolled around, Dave Bernstein was the very first release staff I ever got. In fact, he told me he was going to be released way before it ever began. Because Dave knew that. Because Dave worked every single election. He put his heart into it. He put his soul into it. I know, believe me. Look, if he was here, I would grill him so much, but he's not. So I'm going to be a little respectful. That way when he hears about it, you know, all the people that talk can see Dave and say, oh, you know, Josh said really nice things about you. So let me say this about Dave. He is my surrogate Jewish grandfather in the labor movement. He made sure to tell me that at the very beginning. That man made my life a living hell. I'll just let you know that right now. If we told him not to do something, Aaron, you can back me up on this. If we told him, Dave, don't touch that copier. It's the NALCs. They don't want you to touch it. 5 minutes later, he's on the copier. He's making hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of color copies. If we said, Dave, don't touch this phone, he would get on that phone and start making lots of calls because he wanted to make sure that everyone knew that we were phone banking, that we were walking, and that he was there, so why the hell weren't they there? And he really tried to guilt them every time, going, I'm here, where are you? But enough of that. I mean, Dave, you know, Dave, and if you read the bio about him, I was going to talk about all his merits and the different awards that he's received, not only by the West Central Florida Federation of Labor, but also by his local and also by his national union, the APWU. But honestly, even though Walt threw his hands up and went, oh, what are you talking about? Dave really does have labor in his heart. It flows through his brains, just like all 3 other recipients that are going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame today. It's in his blood. He started with the Teamsters at 19, and he stayed within labor the entire time. And, you know, sometimes we can all be a little razzled by Dave. You know, sometimes he might get you under the skin a little bit. But his heart and his commitment is there. And more importantly, his laughter is there. Because you can always hear him laugh. Regardless, if he was back there right now, you would hear him laugh right now about this. But again, you know, when I first started, I was like, who is this guy? Like, why? But as I continued and as we built the release staff and moved to make sure that Barack Obama won Tampa and won Hillsborough County, and so it turned blue, so that right now we actually have someone in the White House that cares about working people, opposed to, say, you know, Sarah Palin or one of those. He was so happy. I just remember the day that we got him elected, the pride and sort of the beam on his face. Cheryl, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, and you know, all of this and more is why Dave's being inducted. Yes, he did a lot of great things for his home local, he did a lot of great things for APWU, but he helped build this labor movement of the state. He helped build this working family movement, and we wouldn't be where we are, it's kind of funny to say this, wouldn't be where we are without David Bernstein. So, to receive this award for David Bernstein is none other than the person who I first met when I started with the Florida AFL-CIO, Ms. Cheryl Schroeder. Cheryl?
She's in this class. You can edit that out.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful award, isn't it, everybody? So David got a call that said that he was not going to be able to be here tonight. So he calls me up and he says, Cheryl, I want you to accept the award on my behalf. And I went, ooh, okay. Well, let's talk about some comments, maybe some, remarks that you would like to have me make on your behalf. So I'm here to show you the comments and or remarks that David Bernstein gave me. Do you all see this? 2 pages, single spaced. And I'm like, oh no. So I called him a couple days later and I said, oh Dave, really, do I have to read that? He said, oh no. He says, that's just fluff. He says, I want everybody to understand that union is in my heart. I believe in union. Union has made my life and given my family and I a good life, a good living wage. We've been able to survive because of my union membership. Dave's been in the union movement for 55 years. 55 years. As a board member for the West Central Florida Federation of Labor, I've worked with Dave side by side many times, as Josh can attest to. And yes, he is rather interesting to deal with, but his heart is always, always in the right place. And I am proud to be able to receive this honor on his behalf. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Josh. Next we're going to bring up someone to talk about